It's the Sod Pod, brought to you by Grassland Agro. The Sod Pod. Hello, and welcome to episode 14 of the Sod Pod. In the last episode, we were joined with David Wall from Johnstown Castle in Teagasc. It's a really good episode, and I'd advise you to go back and have a listen if you haven't heard it already. In this episode, it's a bit different. I'm joined today with Sean McMahon. David Corbett is out in Portugal on a holiday, and John O'Loughlin is tied up. He's unavailable today to join us. So we've got 3 guests on with us today. They're part of our professional workplace students. Laoise Cullen from Wicklow, talk to me.
Hello, how are you doing?
Great.
So my name's Laoise and I'm from Wicklow. So I recently finished up in Dundalk Institute of Technology, where I completed my degree in Sustainable Agriculture. So yeah, I'm working with Grassland for the summer and getting lots of experience. Brilliant.
And what are you going doing now? Because that course is finished. You got a bit of good news there recently.
I did. So I'm planning on completing my Masters starting in September in UCD, doing the Agricultural Extension and Innovation.
That's top class. Another guy that's with us here today, Sean Keane from Mayo. Sean, how are you keeping?
Good, James. Thanks for having me on the Sod Pod today. Yeah, I'm a third year animal and crop production student in UCD. This is part of my professional work experience journey with them, I suppose. I am doing 12 weeks with Grassland Agro. I think I'm on my 9th week at the moment, so look, it's a new experience, a new adventure with agriculture and sustainability, so really enjoying it.
That's great, Sean. A long commute from Mayo to Dublin, or I presume you stayed over a bit?
Yeah, it's a long commute, alright. First year was a bit of a battle, alright, you know, the loud noises and dark nights and stuff, but look, I adjusted, and you get used to it. Look, you make friends and you just kind of get on with it. It is what it is, and third year now I'm settled in, and hopefully my last year going into it I'll be flying.
It is what it is. You must be listening to Love Island. Man, Sean, mate.
And third up, Ciara Collins. Ciara, how are you keeping?
Not too bad, and yourself?
Right, good, Ciara.
Good.
I think it's worth noting Ciara Collins is from Tipperary, so I'm delighted to have her on here today.
Some people would disagree with that. John O'Loughlin informed me that she was from Killaloo, County Clare, so...
I think that John has an obsession with Clare, so...
Yeah, and that would be a fierce contentious issue around Killaloo and Ballina. They are divided by a river. Killaloo been in County Clare, Ballina been in the great Premier County, County Tipperary. Just to clarify that, they would be close-knit in so many ways, Ciara, but there's always a very proud blue and gold versus gold and blue line to be drawn there. Now, Ciara, back to you from Tipperary.
So I am in third year doing environmental science and agriculture in TUS Thurles. And I'm just on work placement now for 12 weeks with Grassland Agro.
What have you enjoyed about it?
I've enjoyed going out to farms. You know, you're meeting so many different people and so many different farmers.
How many farmers do you reckon you've been on, because you were involved in going and taking the pre-harvest assessment, testing the sugars and nitrates for sustainability clients? You're also doing a lot of work on soil health and advising farmers on how to improve their soil health. How many farms or how many counties do you think you've been in to date?
I'd say over maybe 6 counties and probably over 80 farms, maybe, I'd say. Right. Yeah, I've been doing kind of like 6 a day, like on a good day, you know. Yeah. So for the last 9 weeks.
Brilliant, fair play. It's a lot different to actually taking what you've learned from college and I suppose we learned about soil science in college, but putting it into practical terms, and I suppose like we're being educated in college and then we're educating the farmer looking at soil. It's enjoyable. Yeah, no, it is. It's really good. And even in college, like, you're learning it out of the book, really, and then you go out and you do one bit of practical one day, but it's not until, like, you know, you're going out to doing it like so many times a day that you really learn it, and like you keep learning it. Every farm is different, and all the soil types are different, so yeah, it's really good. Fair play. And Laoise, tell us a little bit about your background. So you come from a dry stock farm, I think, in County Wicklow?
Yeah, so we had a pedigree limousine farm, but we recently got out of them in October.
Right.
So now we just keep bullocks. Just they're roaming the farm. So
Very good, very good. And have you any other interests, say, bar the animals? Are you into any sports?
yeah. So I played football for my local club. I actually haven't gone back this year, but we won championship there last year, so
Hey.
we did well.
Very good.
What's the name of your club?
Roundwood on Toker.
Oh, very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I hear from someone that you were into athletics?
I was into athletics, yes, a long time ago.
What's the story? What were you?
I used to do hammer throw, discus and shot put.
Wow.
So I gave them up for my leaving cert just to kind of focus on it. But yeah, I represented Ireland in Portugal twice, so
Really?
He's
Yeah.
brilliant.
it was
That's
a
it.
good
That was some
achievement.
experience.
Yeah, it was really good. A good big group of us went over, so it was a bit of crack as well.
Brilliant. Fair
Yeah.
play. And Sean, during your time in UCD, I was in UCD myself doing the same course yourself. Were you playing? I know you're heavily involved in the football team at home. Were you playing much GA up there, or how did the COVID experience has affected ye all in college? What was that like, or did you get playing with representing UCD at any period?
Yeah, I suppose, Sean, when I first went to UCD, I was the first person there from my school, actually. So, you're thrown in the deep end there. You don't know anyone, and you're optimistic you'll meet someone from Mayo, so you can just gel together. But that's not the case. Look, at UCD and agricultural science has offered a great opportunity to meet people from similar backgrounds. I was fortunate to get on campus there with the college in first year, which I highly advise any student who's going to any college. You meet friends, and you gel together a lot sooner because you're cooking with each other, you're going to walk into class, whatever.
Going to Ryan's.
Going to Ryan's, yeah, good old Ryan's. Look at I then decided I'd link up with the football team in UCD. I was fortunate then, I suppose, again to actually meet a Mayo man, Stephen Cohen. He was my mentor, and he really did help me, just kind of saying, how to get into places and talk to this guy if you're stuck. And I linked up with the football team. Luckily, we done well. We got to the All-Ireland semi-final, actually, at the Fresher A's, and unfortunately with COVID, it was all called off. So it was a bit sickening, but look, we had great days out, a bit of crack, and look at all them guys I met are friends for life, So the social aspect, similar to Leisha and Ciara here, it's important to get involved and to be open-minded. So then you carry that towards your PWE, you're talking to past pupils, and it's a repetitive kind of statement that people are saying they regret not going abroad. So look, it's kind of up to the student themselves when they're going for PWE. You have to make the most of it. I feel old here now. Life is short.
You've had a very good PWE though. Apart from Grassland aside, you were in Brazil.
Yeah. Look, Brazil was. It was hot and cold whether I was going to go or not. I'd say I cancelled it about 3 times. With COVID there, and trying to get confirmation and back and forth, as hard as it is to get coverage in Mayo, Jesus, trying to get in contact with them over there is difficult enough. But look, no, it worked out really well. I was definitely going. I made the decision at Christmas talking to students. I was 100% going to go. I got the opportunity. It was a little bit expensive, but look, you have to make them decisions and go. So I'd done 4 weeks with the pig farmer John Sheridan there in Bannerobe. He's a nice small herd of flock there of landrays and large white sows, and got an insight there. Look, at pig farmers are struggling big time at that stage, and that was before electricity and inflation came. So I don't know what he's doing now. But it was a great insight that the college offers you there. And then I moved on then to the Netherlands, to Dairy Research Farm there up in Loppersum, the northeast of the Netherlands, and that was quite amazing actually, because there's a lot of stuff going on there with. It's called network project. It's called in English terms, I suppose. There's a lot of research and activities going on in terms of reducing emissions over the next 4 years, and that's continuing on now. It's obviously took drastic measures in the last few weeks. If you look at the headlines there with the nitrogen regulations, so yeah, that was amazing. First time ever on a dairy farm. First time ever milking a cow. So it was great. Again, it's a great opportunity to get that and sink in there, and then. I came home then for a week and I didn't know what to do. My mother was kind of looking at me thinking, where are you going now? So I booked a flight on a Thursday, rang my doctor, and I didn't have time to get vaccinations there. So I said, I'm just going to go. My bank card didn't arrive. I only had a bit of cash, and I said, I'm just going to go. So booked the flight on the Thursday, left on the Monday morning. I had 3 flights, took about 2 days, I think, to get to my venue. Missed a flight as well. I got stuck in Sao Paulo airport. So look, it was a huge challenge by yourself. You're trying to ring home there. I'm stuck here. I'm lost. But like, you just have to. It's a very independent, responsible
experience.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. Like, I was going over there. 25,000 animals on site. The second biggest beef lot in Sao Paulo state. They were fantastic. I think there was only 2 or 3 that had English, but they were absolutely amazing culture, amazing people. I highly advise anyone to go. It doesn't matter if you're in college, finish college, just go and just embrace it. Like, they really do show you what's happening, and they do want to, like, they want you to learn about, the culture, the whole setup. And environmentally, it's actually, everyone's saying to yourself, you're going to a beef lot, it's going to be, hormones and additives, and it's not like they really do want to, produce a quality feed product that's sustainable, like, so it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. And then Grassland, obviously, I got in contact with them, and I was, fortunate as Ciara and Alicia to get in here for 12 weeks to learn a new adventure, they're actually, out of all my placements, I suppose we've got as much exposure than any of them. Exposure, learning and responsibility is huge. I've never been on a placement where students get to visit and have as much activity with challenges farmers are embracing in Ireland. So yeah, it's been good. It's
a lovely story, Sean. A Mayo lad that was very nervous and apprehensive when you went to UCD in the first place, and that springboard brought you around to the Netherlands and Brazil now. I think it's a really good story. It just goes to show that initial nervousness of stepping out from your own home turf and your own place to go to the big city in Dublin and then end up kicking on and learning from around the world and seeing the practices there is just great. Ciara, down in Thurles, environmental science and agriculture.
Yeah.
There's no spin on that. What's the crack?
Yeah, no, so it's a really good course. I actually did a marketing course before that, and I changed over then. It wasn't for me. And I actually really enjoy now going to college, every day. It's really, really interesting. So yeah, so it's a great course because it's a mixture of, like, being in the classroom and lectures, and then there's a lot of field trips, and then the agricultural side of it as well. So like there was in second year every Tuesday, we were going hiking up mountains and all different biodiversity up mountains, and then I think it was on Thursdays we were out in Gertine College for one day a week out there looking at the agricultural side of it, and so that was great crack heading out there. It was something different to being in on campus, like so yeah, it was really interesting.
And I think that's the recurring theme here, like whether with your time in Grassland or when you were in college or travelling the world, it's learning from everyone, because every day we're learning. Every farmer has a new trick or a new concept, and the more of these ideas we can wrap together is just great. Sean, you were going to step in there.
Everyone has their own unique experience, and whether or not that you're involved with agriculture, there's still great opportunities regardless of what university that you go to study ag and get good practical experience, whether it's with PWE or even if you're not from a farming background yourself, to take that theory that you're learning midweek and maybe have a part-time job at the weekend helping out a neighbour or a local farmer. So back to Laoise there for a second. Laoise, you went to DKIT, but you did do a stint in Ballyhaise, which wouldn't be too far away from me. Tell us a wee bit about Ballyhaise. I know they had an open day there recently. I don't know if you got to it there or not, but maybe what were you doing in Ballyhaise? Or for someone that's in that course, that's doing that Sustainable Ag course, is it just practicals that you're having in Ballyhaise, or what's involved with that?
Yeah, so for the 4 years in Dundalk, in first and second year, we are split between Ballyhaise and Dundalk itself. So we were in Ballyhaise Monday to Wednesday, and then every evening we were out on the farm doing practicals. So it could have been dosing cattle, handling sheep. Like, we really got a taste for everything. So it was definitely interesting, and it was good to split the kind of lectures with the practical side, so at least you could put them all together. So definitely can't fault Ballyhaise at all. And it's a good course because it is that hands-on experience, and like your course size is small, so you get to know the lectures one-on-one as well, so it definitely helps.
What made you apply for, say, the professional experience with Grassland? Like, you know, and that's a question that I ask you all, like starting with you, Laoise. What made you apply?
For me, I think I kind of wanted a job for the summer before going into my master's that was related to agriculture. I didn't really want to go back to a cafe and work for the summer. Yes. So when I saw that you were hiring, I just applied, and yeah, now here I am. So I'm loving every minute of it. Like, I'm getting so much experience, and I think it'll be great to have kind of the advisory side of the experience going into my master's, because it's definitely something I'm interested in for after college. So
Sean, what about you?
Yeah, similar to Laoise there. Grassland Agro, I seen the advertisements there for interns. So yeah, look, it's a multinational driven and growing company at the moment, and there's nothing better being a part of a company that's, you know, it's driven to be successful. So the exposure, the responsibility, the learning, and there's two major aspects of work experience I want to learn, and that's my grassland management and my animal nutrition. So Grassland Agro is offering you know, it's the fundamentals of soil health and soil sustainability. So
yeah, brilliant. And say, Ciara, for you, we haven't just, or ye haven't just been going out to farms the whole time. We've went to Grass 10 events, or you've gone to Grass 10 events. We've had company events in Johnstown Castle with David Wall. We've had, you've got a tour of the factory. You've also got exposure to the dairy hygiene side of the business. Like, before you started with Grassland, what were you expecting? What happened over the 10 weeks so far, or say getting a tour of the factory or that? Was it what you expected?
Yeah, no, it was. So I just, over the last 3 years, I really developed an interest in like soil, and so that's kind of why I was going for Grassland Agro. But yeah, the factory tours were that was a great experience, because I'd never seen a fertilizer factory, and even then going to the Chagas event down with the heavy soils, like where I'm from, like there would be quite heavy soils around, and even to see how that farmer, it was like the other side of the road, and he wasn't using the land at all because it was so wet and heavy, and then the way he put in all the drainage, and now he uses that every day. It's like crazy to think that there's like, we'll say, land out there that has so much potential that people just aren't utilising it because they don't know how to go about fixing it. Yeah, so I found that one really interesting.
You were down with Seamus Murphy. Seamus Murphy would be one of our agronomy advisors. Dairy hygiene workshop down there, Kilmallock in Limerick. How did you get on with Seamus that day in the boys? Yeah,
that was actually very good, because I come from a suckler farm, so I wouldn't have like a great insight into, we'll say, the dairy side of things. And like, I didn't actually realise how, like, there's so much in dairy farming, like, and I didn't realise that. And when we went down, we got a great insight into all the different products that you can use, and like, there's so much in it. So I found that really good.
Led, some of the big things we would have had you doing, we had you doing a bit of nitrate testing, grass vests and Solvita testing, different scenarios like that. There was soil science and all of this. But what I suppose did you find from that? Did you have an understanding of this beforehand? Or what did you pick up from this? Do you think it's a benefit, etc.?
Yeah, like, you would have had a bit of an understanding going into before doing it, but I suppose, I don't know for the rest of you, but I definitely learned lots on the ground and actually doing it. The Solvita tests and everything, like, they're really interesting. And even just going out and talking to farmers and meeting new people, like, it's great, and I've really enjoyed it. So yeah.
Yeah, similar there to Laoise again. What's actually struck me is the togetherness within the farming industry. Met a farmer there recently, and he was having challenges with moisture content in the soil there and no growth. And it wasn't a blame game. It was, we're in this together. How do we get past this? So yeah, look, like, I've heard of snippets like from different areas doing the testing on grass measuring, and Grassland Agro's drive to ensure the farmer is getting the most productive soil and yield from his crop is fantastic. So look, then taking the nitrates out there and ensuring that for fermentation that it's going to be quality silage at the end of the year. So yeah, look, it's been brilliant.
And you got out a couple of days with some of the senior ATC, Sean, learned a lot on some of those days.
Yeah, no, I was fortunate. I suppose King of Leitrim there, Liam O'Donnell, shout out to him there. He himself and Gordon have been fantastic. Like they've guided me through the ropes, I suppose you could say, and just introduced me and ensured that I was comfortable and I was getting on okay at all stages. Probably similar for all work placement students. Grassland did look after us. We were positive the whole time, and the farmer was also positive, so that's the most important thing.
Ciara, you were out with a couple of the lads as well. I think Noel Hamill tried to kidnap you there. He wanted you out with him most days there. He was getting great value out of you doing grass vessels and stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering what Noel was doing. Was he sitting at home? He had me flat out anyway. But no, geez, it was great, getting out, and to think that you walk into a field and it's not until you dig your grass vest and look in under what is under the soil, you'd be amazed to see what's there. There was one farm we were at down, it was the last week, and we did the grass vest, so we had we were going through the results, and I had actually done the vest on it, but when we dug the sod again to go through it, and whatever the score was, but on the outside of the field it was wet at the time, but he'd used Fizzlet, we'll say, on the outsides of the field, but he couldn't go the whole way through the field because the tracks and everything. But we dug then the sod where on the outskirts and in the middle of the field, and to see the difference between the two, even there's so much in it, the soil, but then even the roots, you can see how white they were, and they were even nearly stretchy compared to the middle of the field. But you wouldn't think. There's just so much in it.
It's the big thing with the grass vest is, I suppose, the reason why we're doing it, and it's so important to take the farmer with you, is to show them and explain to them how the soil works, because we're farming the land to provide food for our animals, for our neighbours, our family, and we're trying to make money off the land as well. And there's so much potential in the soil, but it's not until we actually dig deep and assess what's there, and then if there's compaction there, we put a plan in place, the likes of Fizzle of that. It's a really, really important aspect to the soil sustainability programme, and it's good to see that you've seen the difference maybe to what a field was like. There was a particular problem, there was a plan put in place, or we were testing a product for a certain amount of time, and you've obviously seen good results.
Yeah, no, it was very good to see how it was in one field, just a couple of meters away from each other, and there was such a huge difference. And when you see the two beside each other, then that's when you realise the difference.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's to dig a couple of holes to get that gauge around the field, because there's no point in just digging one hole and putting that down as the prescription for that whole field. It's to dig a couple, and you could see. And then, because the farmer, he's running that field, he knows where I normally turn here or whatever, so he can start to really identify the real problems and the real success stories under that side as well, And I was amazed as well to see the interest in farmers.
When I was kind of starting, you'd be thinking oh, here's a young one coming in digging holes in the field, but the farmers are they're way more into it now than I'd say maybe a few years ago. I
think that's a great point here, because one thing I've noticed, Shawnee, in the last even 10 years, so when you go take Teagasc Grange above there 2 weeks ago, and the livestock would always get great attention. We'll be looking at the animals. Machinery always gets great attention. We'll be looking at what's coming down the line and what's been used or whatever. But to see gangs of people looking into holes in the field, I just think that has been so transformative, especially in the last 10 years, to see such an interest.
Yeah, sure. You see at any discussion group or farm event that you go to, if you can see the animals, the crowd tends to go over and petting the animals, or seeing what way they're performing. And as David Wall was telling us the last day in Grange, we heard it from our own ATCs as well. The Grass Fest, they were doing a demonstration. The cattle was in the next stand, and everyone was looking into the hole to see what the soil structure was like. So yeah, it's good to see that mindset changing. And look at the price of fertilisers probably influencing a portion of farmers, but policy, we're not going to be able to spread the amounts of chemical fertiliser that we've had. We're embracing that as a company. We're supporting farmers on the ground with both the service and the products to, I suppose, help fix any issues that they might have in terms of soil health in our farm.
No, that's it. And lads, we're going to wrap it up there. I want to thank you for coming on, and I'm sure we'll cross paths in the future again. It's been brilliant having you part of the Grassland Agro professional workplace students. So Laoise Cullen from Wicklow, Best of luck in Dundalk IT for the future and the Masters. Sean Keane, the Mayo man, another bit of time to go in UCD. And of course, Ciara Collins, Tipperary, down in TUS in Thurles. All the best for the future, and thanks for coming on. Mind yourselves out there. Farm smart, farm safe. Hey, thanks for listening to the Sod Pod. We hope you enjoyed it. To find out more, head over to www.grasslandagro.ie or check out our social channels: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube. That's all for this episode. See you next time.